So it could get a little bit dicey when you go to the second point. If you have to switch off of this to try and get something like Rally or Transcendence, you just won't, you might not have enough time to do it if the Valiant stay on this. So looks like KSP is going to play Widowmaker, maybe just to fire some shots, then a switch to Ashe potentially.
Yeah, well, he wasn't positioned in the front door, so it wasn't a Widow opener before a switch. But now I think that the game's been given away. He wasn't able to tag Agility, so he moves pretty fast. It's not easy to hit that Echo in midair.
It seems like, though, he's playing further back in the choke. Like, he hasn't really exposed himself yet, so
but this prevents,
he's going to stay on this.
This prevents aggression from Agility towards the main choke, right? He needs to be really careful now. Constantly in the back of his head, he knows there's a Widow looking for him.
Yeah, and they don't really have anything that can challenge at that far of a range, right? Like, Ashe's effective range is much shorter than Widowmaker, so you're not able to get those, like, 1 or 2 shots through that choke.
Okay, yep, Agility's reminded.
Yeah, he gets tagged up.
Yeah, the Widowmaker is hunting him down, but KSP changes target to Beast, and that's perfect. Look at this, just playing from multiple angles of attack. KSP had complete and total safety, because it looks like Logix wasn't looking at him either.
Well, he can, because in that range, if you're Logix and you're scoped in going up against the Widow, it's like almost 2 shots, 3 shots to be able to get that kill off, where the Widows are so good in the Overwatch League that, yeah, and Ashe peeks and just fires 1 or 2 shots, like, it's going to be a kill in favor of the Widow every time.
But you can see that Logix did hit KSP there and force him down, so Ashe can protect herself a little bit, and I'd say Logix wants to benefit from Bob and the Dynamite as well. KSP has not switched though, and God, I kind of feel like the Defiant are a little bit blasé about the fact that there's such a threat lurking here. They just sort of expose themselves, but they have to stand in the open to a degree. They can't compromise their defensive structure just because the Widow's in play, but that has led to this. Dreamer forces them back inside the catacombs, and he's already found Cruz. They're down 1 support. The other support, Kareev, has to bide his time inside spawn. This has gone disastrously for the Defiant.
And they're going to get the second tick. They're getting so close to capturing the point, and they are going to take it with almost 5 minutes in the time bank. Toronto just asleep at the wheel there on their D, as the Widowmaker at the choke, it just poses a threat, but then once Dreamer goes in with the nano boost and then the primal, it just opens everything up. Toronto so split, they lose their Baptiste, they lose the immortality field, which at that time is their only kind of saving grace in terms of keeping people alive on the point. Kareev, the other support, gets blasted all the way back to the spawn, and they're just not able to get anything there.
It's madness, isn't it? The Valiant forced the Defiant to play close quarters and then punished them for doing just that. It's almost as if they didn't have a choice. So what choice did they have, Matt?
I mean, they didn't really have much, to be honest. Like, see, look, okay, so the Valiant on D, they're going to come out and they're going to run the Brig. So the Brig here, because if you remember, the Toronto ran Baptiste on.
Yes.
The Brig at least gives you the rally for point B, right? You're not fully like resetting, switching off, like you can play the Brig from point A to point B. You have that rally to extend the fight on point B if it gets dicey. Toronto had nothing to be able to do that, which when they lose point A quick, and in the fashion that they did, the Widow's able to get control of that main choke point at the top of the archway for point B. They're forced into such odd angles, and then when the dive comes in, there's no way they can react.
There's no way Beast is playing Wrecking Ball, yeah, okay. The Reinhardt, all right. So the Defiant, in theory, want to play a bit more compact. Now, what the Valiant were able to do that the Defiant weren't was actually send Dreamer from main and have him dive as another part of a pincer, just jump on in and get back to his team. The Defiant can't really obscure any of what they're doing here. There's no smoke and mirrors. Look how much damage they took as well. I mean,
a lot.
The Valiant know exactly what they're doing.
Like a Dreamer at 50% ult charge compared to, you know, most of the Toronto Defiant Crews at 61, but that just shows you how much damage they were taking to go through the choke.
In fairness though, the Reinhardt means that the Valiant can't commit fully to this platform, not in the same way that the Defiant did, so they have to back away. Now that's not necessarily a good thing for Toronto. Toronto still need to deal with threats like KSP and Shax.
But look at how much like poke damage the Toronto Defiant are taking. And they're not able to get through. Like, they're going to have to just heal up and then get right back through this.
Oh, that damage to the sticky bombs is so wrong. Okay, agility though, nicely done. Answers back, gets Shax for the sticky bombs. And look at that, that's a relief valve if I've ever seen one. A lot of ultimates being used here by the Defiant. Dreamer's able to drop in and get rid of agility. And Nevix is trying to handle Dreamer, who stayed alive and got primal rage, keeping the fight alive.
Oh, it was such a nice biotic grenade there from Lastro as well. It connects with a few players on the Defiant, and that should be enough to give the Valiant the fight win.
Shax and his sticky bombs have returned. Careful, Shax.
Oh,
he had
the
to
little
alive.
emergency, yeah.
Okay, well, honestly, an early Transcendency could be kind of amazing if he's able to stay in that ball for long enough and get the damage. Doesn't really look like it. We'll see. Kareev gets rid of Dreamer, who was caught amidst entirely the enemy team. Shax doesn't get Transcendent. There will be a Gravitic Flux here, though, from McGravy in a couple of moments. And a bomb combo could be nice.
Yeah, as a Valiant, they're rotating up to try and get the high ground. They know they can give up a little bit here to Toronto, and Toronto doesn't have anything to access this. And then McGravy could come in with this Gravitic Flux. You see they're playing Beast alone. They know that he has the Gravitic Flux to use.
Beast is doing the dirty work, the stuff that no one really wants to do right now. He's sitting on the point and waiting what may come. McGravy trying to control a little bit their action on the platform, but with Transcendence in play, that was a little bit hard to do. Eventually, the Valiant have to come down and challenge this. But Agility is also Sigma. All right, doesn't hit the accretion. Looking for Lastro on the high ground now. Back in Echo form, and his sticky bombs are going to make that a pretty easy kill. Lastro trying to dodge. He's able to get away. Being healed up as he goes. McGravy
the rally.
in the meantime. Somehow the Defiant's attack has been blunted when they had pole position. The perfect access point. Now they need to continue it. Dreamer's going to rock on him with a wrecking ball into those close quarters, and Gravitic Flux has to be used up here. Nevix can't follow up with damage, but he gets 2 kills as both of his quarries were below half health when they dropped.
Yeah, so it looks like just one more member for the Valiant alive. Shax falls there, but well, you're wondering how Lastro is able to live. He gets an armor pack, and then he drops down. He gets some late effects of the rally. As that was a pretty decent hold there for the Valiant. Already, Toronto cannot match the Valiant's time bank, to give you an idea of how good it was. And now coming into this next fight, though, Toronto's got this Shatter, and they're going to have Bob, potentially an Amp Matrix to use as well. So Toronto has some big ultimates to maybe set a good time of their own.
Toronto's composition is one that takes some time to build ahead of steam. It really requires the Reinhardt to be in position. The Valiant, though, don't have as many options to sort of back away and take high ground poke positions, but that
big biotic
it
grenade.
wasn't just the Pioneer as well. I think KSP gets in there with some dynamite, Matt. That was devastating. Cruz and Kree between them don't have a lot of burst healing. Cruz just have to keep smashing the right mouse button to keep his team alive. They get there. There's the amplification matrix. Look who gets in the back though, Dreamer. Anubis.
Yeah, I mean, he gets in the back with an Anubis, but also that Amp Matrix. You can just hide behind, you know, the central pillar of the point and just not take any damage and still contest. So not really able to get a ton of damage with it.
It's a Valiant are buying
nice
time.
grenades.
They're contesting, but only just dipping a toe in the water here. But that's been enough to prevent any ticks from coming up. Now, Logix is put to sleep here. This could be an issue. Transcendence has to be pulled out, and Shax is going to do a Reinhardt play of his own. Get the charge in there. The Transcendence is an issue. He's going to drop out a duplication. Justice McGravy goes for the Gravitic Flux. There's an opportunity here for Shax to make use of the CC. And Cruz's Immortality Field is now down, but the Defiant are playing close together. They're compact and they're healthy. The Agility's copies the Brig and gets a rally pretty much straight away. A very durable death ball for the Defiant. Now they're setting up on point, pressuring Shax away, and he falls to Agility's focusing B.
Yeah, getting that rally there for Agilities is huge, and now you're going to have Dreamer get onto the point. They can't allow him to get Primal. It could be huge for the stall for the Valiant.
Agilities is down! Such a big damage source is now missing. Logix has to step up in his stead, but Dreamer has Primal Rage, and Beast once more is not really able to do anything to help his team. Nevix got knocked into the massive Valiant players, and now you're starting to get frightened as the Defiant. Matt, you talked up their ultimates coming into that fight. They had a lot of good stuff to work with, and is that Kareev playing Lucio?
Yes, well, you don't want to give up the Amp Matrix, right? So you're going to have Kareev or, yeah, he's going to go back to Zed, but if you wanted to, you would have had to have him play Lucio. You're not going to give up Amp Matrix, especially when you have the Ashe in play, you know, Nevix with the Hyperspheres being able to throw through there. Lots of damage available to both of those players. And so it looks like they're going to go and try and take this left side yet again. It's going to be Dreamer with an early deny.
KSP setting up for a Bob here, playing around the corner. He knows that the Valiant are going to go here. The Valiant, so the Defiant are very telegraphed in their movements with this Reinhardt. They're not going to walk it straight down the middle. Okay, I think KSP got spotted there. Agilities is looking in that direction. So we'll see if he actually gets a safe bob or actually has to go back through his own spawn. Dreamer again, nano boosted as he goes on in here, but what can he do? KSP needs to help him out this time. Bob is in there, and the Defiant are taking a shellacking in terms of damage. KSP loses Bob though, and the Defiant are able to weather the storm for now. Amp Matrix is still up, it should be employed shortly.
Yeah, but they're going to have another Primal Rage, and they're going to have a rally for this fight for the Valiant. And with only 54 seconds left, all the kills going in favor of the Valiant. And Mitch, they don't even need to use their rally here. They just use the Gravitic Flux. A few kills come in from Shaxx, and they get a hold, and that is almost worst case for Toronto. Toronto doesn't use any of their ultimates, but still, with how strong the defensive advantage here is on Anubis in terms of spawn, it's looking so good for the Valiant to get a full hold.
The Defiant are playing right into the Valiant's wheelhouse. Los Angeles want Toronto to group up. They have Dynamite, they have Sticky Bombs, Winston, Primal Rage, they have Gravitic Flux, Bionic Grenade, a Brig who's just going to farm them for Inspire Healing. The Defiant are walking straight into the same trap every time with this comp, and the Valiant is throwing all this poke damage in there, building ultimates like crazy, and now the Defiant have to use what they have left. Shaxx in position to duplicate again, might just duplicate Beast in mid-air, drop down and get a charge for this one.
They're going to wait this out. They're going to wait out the Matrix here. There's no reason to run into it.
All right, Shaxx, he has done it. He's copying the right heart. Agility's those going to copy on Winston. He gets hit with an accretion early on. That'll slow him down, but he's managed to find Lastro, and he's going to stick to his target like moss on a rock. Now diving into the fight that's happening in the low room. Shatter came out there, but the Defiant didn't have a chance to really get there until the final moments, and my gosh, that was close.
Yes, the Valiant not able to get back towards the point. So many players playing in that choke where the players for the Valiant were split off from. So it'll be Toronto able to capture the point. No time remaining in the time bank, obviously. Comes right down to the wire. And now the Valiant, 4 minutes and 58 seconds to get a point on A. This will be an all-time hold for the Defiant if they're able to do this.
You're slightly annoyed if you're the Valiant here because it was obviously a communication error that occurred, but with so much time to get one tick on point A, you're probably not worrying too much.
No, you're with how good their point A attack was the last time, you're not really worried at all. This time you see the Defiant, they make the change, and now they'll actually have the Brig in play.
Okay, let's see if it makes a difference. Cruz, the Brigitte player. Never thought I would see the day. From a Genji player to a Lucio player to a Brig.
It's kind of hard to see if it'll make like a huge difference, being that 5 minutes they have to hold. I don't think it'll really be incredibly impactful because just you're so against the clock. You have to use every ultimate to be able to hold the point. It's in one where the Valiant, they have no reason to invest into a lot of these. Dreamer potentially coming out on the Wrecking Ball yet again is an interesting choice.
Alright, so he fences it over the Winston. I think the game plan will still be the same for the Valiant. Get 4 players into this left side room. Yep. Leave Dreamer out on his own and KSP in position to find some picks. The Defiant haven't made any significant compositional changes that could answer this, right? Nothing in theory anyway, so execution for the Valiant, if it works out the same way as last time, it should be on easy streak. Dreamer drops in briefly. You can see him there in the background, but he's low.
Yeah, and the Brig is also obviously good against the Wrecking Ball as well. As Dreamer gets quite low, has to go up to the high ground. As you see Agility's getting the benefits of the armor packs, right? You want to armor pack your flankers, make them even stronger. It's actually, he gets the armor pack, KSP.
KSP finds the health pack, yeah.
The health pack,
Agility's, I mean, really, he's not easy to hit, mate. He's very... Echo is very svelte. If you're trying to hit the head and they're strafing back and forth, it's going to be very difficult. Agility finds Shaxx as well. And now the Defiant can actually start to stagger here in a big way, build some ult charge, and actually start to put together a hold.
Yeah, and they put away the Widow and they put away the Wrecking Ball, so they'll play the Ashe with the Winston here to try and just kind of replicate almost exactly what they did the first point. They did have the Widow in play when they won on their first attack,
but no one from Toronto actually went after KSP on Widow last time.
Yeah, and now that you see Agility's putting pressure on KSP, and it's really not just a Logic's 1v1 against the Widow, it's definitely a little bit safer now to play the Ashe. You lose Shaxx early to the hands of Nevik, so you'll have to wait again for the Valiant. This would be a tremendous hold.
So it's safer to play the Ashe, but less effective because Ashe can't actually access the high ground that Widow will perch on just over those archways. It's more likely that the Valiant have to play closer together, which gives them less peripheral threats.
A big biotic grenade there from 3. Next to 3 players.
You've got to follow up on
rain.
Yep.
Yeah, they do. That's nice.
All right, the Valiant have to get their ducks in a row here, Matt.
But they haven't even gotten really any kills. I mean, are they playing for just like one fight here? I mean, they've had about 5 minutes to try and make this happen. Logic's with a headshot into KSP. You actually don't even know like how tilted they are about giving up that last one, right? Like, kind of spirals into your offensive side, throws it all down the drain.
Valiant made a few switches and heroes here, so they haven't really built up a bank of ultimates like the Defiant. This is where it gets hard. This is where you start to fall further and further behind as time goes on as an attacking team. We need a high-value nano boost here, theoretically on Dreamer, but what are his targets? Maybe remove Kareem, let the nano go?
Yeah, and you're almost looking for the nano boost to just, get some ultimates out from Toronto.
Okay, Dreamer might be satisfied with just getting a strong position here on the high ground, but Bob got used to this, so some ultimates were forced.
Oh, well, I mean, they used a lot, right? They used Gravitic Flux, they used the Duplicate, they used Bob, and they used Rally for the Defiant.
Oh, Gravitic Flux even being used to try and control agilities here, but he's having a whale of a time as a duplicated Winston with Primal Rage. And the Valiant now are running out of time, staring down the barrel of a draw that should never have been.
Well, I mean, this is not bad for the Valiant.
Unexpected, not unwelcome development.
And they force out every ultimate that Toronto had. Every single one. Which Toronto needs to do, to be fair. They can't allow that to happen because even if Dreamer gets one pick, the Valiants are using their ultimates and they win the game. They have to invest, but now you think the Valiants have a great opportunity to take this.
Dreamer hide around the corner for the time being now. McGravy wants to make his way forward. No nano boost for the Winston, but there is a rally, and now the Valiant want to push up here. Get in the face of Beast. They force the Defiant to take cover, and there's another Brig in play. Another rally, you betcha. Shax just needs to swing that mace a little bit more, and yeah, that'll get the job done. The Valiant finally get what they want. They force the Defiant to play inside the room. 2 Brigs, no problem.
And there's nothing Toronto can do about that. It's a tremendous defense from Toronto, to be completely fair to them.